Hi everyone. I hope you and your loved ones are safe during this crisis time. Today I would like to speak to you from the scriptures, specifically from the Apostle Paul's epistle to the church at Philippi, Philippians chapter 4, verse 4 through 7. I would like to read that for you, and then I would like to share three important things out of this passage. Here we go. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. Let your reasonableness be known to everyone. The Lord is at hand. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. I titled this passage as follows. Be cautious, but not anxious. Yes, be cautious, but not anxious. This passage gives us three important principles, I believe, that will apply to our day and age. The first thing that this passage tells us is to rejoice. So here are the three important points that I would like to share with you today. Rejoice, reveal, and request. Yes, rejoice, reveal, and request. We are commanded not just to be joyful, but to rejoice in Christ. It is not a suggestion, it is not an opinion, but Paul wrote this epistle from prison, and he told the church at Philippi to rejoice in Christ. In fact, the word joy is used at least 16 times within this epistle, from chapters 1 all the way to chapters 4. So in this specific passage, the apostle admonished and commanded the church to rejoice in Christ, not just once, but twice. What does it mean for us today? Well, our joy, the foundation of our joy, should be based on Christ, because we're witnessing today that all other forms of foundations of joy are crumbling, whether it could be stocks, whether it could be family, or it could be health, it could be other forms of foundations of joy are crumbling. They are being broken into pieces as we speak. So Christ is the foundation, that solid foundation of our joy. Secondly, the apostle admonishes the church to reveal, to demonstrate sound-mindedness in the midst of chaos and in the midst of mistreatments. I don't know what you're going through today. Maybe there are people who are treating you badly for so many reasons. Primarily, it could be for your faith in Christ. So how should we react to those individuals or to system and groups of people? We should act in a way that reveals our sound-mindedness, our steadfastness in Christ, and our love towards Christ and towards others. So we should treat people kindly in spite of how they should treat us. The second aspect, the third aspect of Paul's admonition is request. Request what? Paul talks about the second coming of Jesus Christ. As we've read earlier, the second coming of Christ is imminent. In light of his second coming, we are told not to be anxious about anything. Instead, we should change our worries into worship. We should request God about our immediate needs or specific needs. We should offer prayers, and also we should be thankful for his past mercies. When we do so, the following important element will be a part of our life. The peace of God. The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, or which is superior to human comprehension, will now govern and guard our hearts and our minds through Jesus Christ. You see, Christ is the foundation of our joy. He's the channel of our peace. Therefore, you and I shouldn't be worried about anything. Whatever is trying to obsess your mind should speak to that issue. You should speak to that issue that Christ, the channel through which the peace of God flows into you. So how do we experience the peace of God in the midst of turmoil that is taking place in our world today? Of course, we should request. We should approach God most often. The best form of emotional catharsis is prayer. I read something on social media. It says like this: free speech includes prayer. Yes, it does. Talk to God about your specific needs. Pray to God for peace and sanity in the midst of insanity. And be thankful about His past mercies and forgiveness. When you do so, the peace of God, which surpasses your comprehension, will guard your heart the same way that soldiers in the first century cities would guard city gates from the inside so that no one would come in and invade the city. The peace of God from within will rise up and will guard all forms of worries and all forms of trials, so that you will remain calm in the midst of chaos, so that you will remain peaceful in the midst of war, so that you will remain sane in the midst of craziness around you. So here is the thing that I would like to leave for you today. Do not maximize the minimum and do not minimize the maximum. Let your joy be founded on Christ. Other forms of foundations for your joy are not serving you well today. Focus on Christ, who is the foundation of your joy, who is the channel of your peace, which comes from God. Thank you for listening. God bless you, and I wish you safety for you and for your loved ones. Bye-bye.